Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be doing a first impressions review on this foundation from Ciate London. Now this is the Extraordinary foundation. So I've got two shades to work around with. I've got 104Y linen and also 110Y in buff. I think buff is going to be the closest match to my skin tone at the moment. I feel like linen's a little bit too light, but we'll see how things go. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Ken. I do beauty and lifestyle type content on this channel. If that is your jam, hit the subscribe button, and without further ado, let's dive right into this video. Alright, so I recently got this package from Ciate London. I'm really excited. I haven't actually tried out their foundation before. I didn't even know they did base products, to be completely honest, so I'm excited to try this out. So I've tried out their eyeshadows before and I'm really impressed with the quality of their eyeshadows, so hopefully that also translates well onto their foundation. So let's have a look at the promises for this. So it says it's dermatologically tested, non-comedogenic, which means it's not going to break you out, up to 16-hour wear, hypoallergenic, all good things so far. Got like a little survey that they've done. It says 100% agreed that the foundation blurred their pores, covered imperfections. That's a very big claim. 90% agree the foundation made their skin look more radiant. Very keen to see that. 100% agree that their skin felt hydrated. So another good thing. Alright, so before we begin, I just need to let you guys know what my wants and needs are when it comes to foundation, so that you guys know if this video is going to align with your wants and needs. Now, I am 30 years old, I had to think of it for a second. Male, I have got fine lines, open pores, large pores, a bit of scarring, got some pigmentation issues, especially with the 5 o'clock shadow. So I'm going to test this out, how it's going to cover this up. I'm still going to be using a color corrector because I just do that in general. In terms of finishes for foundations, I do prefer soft mattes to dewy foundations these days. Definitely more on the natural side of things, and in terms of coverage I do prefer medium full, medium buildable coverage type foundations. Okay, as you guys can see, I have got some eye makeup on and the rest of my base makeup on. So I've got some primer, I have got the color corrector and some powder to set that all in. So I'm going to do a split application demonstration. So this side I'm going to be using a beauty sponge. I've got the Beauty Blender, a damp one, and then on the other side I'm going to be using this kabuki brush from Sigma. So it's one of those flat top kabuki brushes, so that I can buff it into my skin just to see if there's any difference and which one I prefer. And this foundation has a pump, which I am very happy about. Oh, that's nice. I feel like it's going to be quite peachy, which is what I tend to like. And by the way, if you guys can see a little bit of shimmer on my face, that's from my eyeshadow. It's a bit of fallout, sorry. Probably shouldn't have worn shimmery eyeshadow for this, but I don't think it's going to affect the overall application. So I think I've got 2 pumps so far on my face, so let's see how buildable this is. Again, I'm going to be using a beauty sponge on this side. Oh wow, that is blending out quite far, considering I've only put a small amount. Okay, so far the colour match isn't the best. I mean, it's not bad. It's a little bit light for my complexion, but the other shade I have to work with, I think linen, is a little bit lighter than this, so I'm not even going to try and use that, but we'll see if this oxidizes. Oh, and by the way, I'll leave a list down in the description box down below for all the other foundation matches I've got from different brands, so you guys can compare and kind of just assess whether or not this shade is going to work for you or not. So yeah, NC30 from MAC, basically. Okay, so that is one layer of the foundation so far, and I guess it also kind of works that it's a little bit lighter so that you guys can kind of see like the difference in my skin. But yeah, it's looking really good. In terms of the smell, I feel like it's like a fresh powdery smell, if that even makes sense. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, the undertone is correct. I can still see a little bit of my 5 o'clock shadow, and the color corrector is sort of like peeking through, so I probably need another layer. All right, now I'm going to do 2 pumps. Okay, that was like 1.5. Let's do half. There we go. 2 pumps. And again, I'm going to dot this over my skin with my fingers. That way it's fairly even application, fairly in the same amount. And again, going to be using the Sigma brush. I'm going to do the dabbing method first, and then I'm going to do a swirl. Wow. I feel like there's so much more coverage with the brush. Actually, I'm not surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised. I haven't... You normally do get that when you do use a brush. You can definitely tell I haven't used a brush in quite some time for me to be that impressed. Okay, so 2 pumps on this side of my face, and I have to say I am impressed with the coverage. I feel like this would have been enough. Like, I would be happy to just move on to the rest of my makeup with this amount of coverage. I feel like it's good. I can kind of still see my Velvet Lock shadow, but at this point it doesn't really bother me because normally I would wear other products on top and I wouldn't really see it. But otherwise, covering all the other blemishes on my skin and just evening out my skin tone, it's been really, really good. I did notice when I was buffing it in, especially where my face sort of like curves in the tops of the cheekbones, I felt like the brush took a little bit of the coverage, so I had to do a bit of that stamping method just to reapply a bit of that coverage. But otherwise it looks really good. I'm not going to apply any more foundation on this side because I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to grab one more pump and I am going to just add a little bit more coverage onto this side because I feel like this side definitely needs more coverage. I dare say this is probably going to be one of those foundations I actually prefer the look of it with a brush, which is very rare. Very, very rare. 2 layers of the foundation on this side is the equivalent of 1 layer with the brush, and yeah, I'm really liking it. Now in terms of the difference in appearance, again with the sponge I feel like it does look more, sorry, that wasn't blended properly. I feel like it looks a lot more when with the skin, as always with a beauty sponge. That's why I prefer beauty sponges. Whereas the brush side, it does look really nice and quite flawless, but I do feel like in some parts I can definitely see the foundation isn't 100% blended, and I can kind of see some streak marks, like especially here at the tops of my cheeks where it's sort of like curving. But otherwise, you know, I feel like if you weren't looking up close and personal, I don't think you would really notice the difference. Now the foundation's had at least 5 minutes to sit on my skin and I haven't really seen any changes in the colour, no oxidation, so I feel like it's going to be quite a stable and first impression sort of like match, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think I'm just going to move on to the rest of my makeup. Ta-da! The rest of the makeup is on, and I used a setting spray. I used this one from MrKenDenis. This one is the Bridal Finish Setting Spray. I don't really feel like it disrupts the finish of the foundation or anything like that. It just gets rid of that powdery finish and sets everything, obviously. But let's have a look at my skin and my thoughts and opinions. So now that I've got everything else on my skin, do I feel like the foundation has gotten any darker? No, I feel like it pretty much looks the same. Again, I'm referring to this bit here because this is the only part of the skin that has pretty much only the foundation on top of it, whereas everything else has got like other products on it. So yeah, I feel like the colour is pretty much the same. I don't feel like it's oxidized at all, and in terms of the flawless finish, I do have to say it looks really nice in the pores. I don't feel like my pores are accentuated or anything like that. I don't feel like they're completely gone. That I feel also has to do with the type of primer that you use. So the primer that I used is from CoverGirl. I don't think it's a silicone based one, so I think that's also why slash is coming off. But yeah, I feel like it looks really good, really decent. In terms of the lines on my face, I don't feel like it's hugging the lines at all. And I have been speaking and I don't feel like it's really sitting in the lines just yet. I mean, obviously I'm only doing a application first impressions. I'd have to do like a full-on wear test to let you guys know if it does actually sit in the fine lines, but overall I am really impressed so far. Coverage is really good, finish is nice. Again, because I did set it with a powder, it's not going to look as hydrated, as luminous as it probably would, but I feel like it is a nice natural looking foundation, on the skin, so very skin-like. Oh, also I forgot to mention this foundation has 30 ml of product. Compared to other foundations out there, they usually come in 30 ml bottles. This is good value for money. I was actually going to say, like, this feels a lot larger compared to other sort of like squeezy tube type foundations, very similar sort of like packaging. So yeah, definitely more product in there to play around with. And yeah, there you guys go. Those are my first impressions on this foundation. So far, I am really impressed, really happy with how this foundation looks. Again, the color could be a little bit darker. That's just my preference. But as you guys can see, I've managed to kind of like fix everything up with a little bit of bronzer, and it still looks really nice. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me for this video. If you guys would like to watch my other product reviews, check out the description box down below, and also the eye on the screen. I'll have a playlist for you guys to check out and a couple of recommendations as well for you guys down there. And that's pretty much it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.